Welcome to GenCast, the daily live webcast for women in their 20s and 30s who are interested in entrepreneurship, lifestyle design, and self-development. For today's Try It Tuesday, we're trying out Kindara. It is based in progressive Boulder, Colorado. Kindara is a company devoted to giving women the knowledge, support, and proper tools to understand how their fertility works and meet their fertility goals. Really excited about this because you know we love Try It Tuesday to feature women that are building apps for other women. So welcome. I'm your host, Jennifer Donogh. You're watching, like I said, daily GenCast that happens here on YFElive.com Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's a 15-minute show. Today's theme is Try It Tuesday, and like I said, it's all about the Kindara app. We're going to test it out a little bit. It's by a female. Actually, the co-founders are a married couple. We've got their community manager, Courtney, on. Courtney, why don't we go ahead and bring you right on? Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit more about Kindara. It's a fertility app that helps you track this, but there's some background behind the whole. It's not just like your average fertility app, I guess is what I'm trying to say. What exactly does Kindara do that makes it different from other apps out there?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, our mission is to help women feel calm and confident about their fertility at all stages of their reproductive years. So whether they're trying to get pregnant, whether they're trying to avoid pregnancy, or whether they just want to learn more about their gynecological health, we just want to give women the tools and knowledge that they need to do that. So the company was founded in 2009 when the co-founders met, and that's Katie Bignell and Will Sachs. And Katie had always been fascinated with how women's bodies worked, particularly throughout pregnancy and childbirth, which led her to become a doula. And then further on down the road, she found out about this thing called the Fertility Awareness Method, which I'll get into in a second. But when she met Will, he, as he says, was blown away by the fact that there was so much about women's health that he didn't know, and that it seemed that so few people knew all this seemingly basic stuff about how women's bodies work. And so the two of them saw this opportunity to make a company to spread awareness of this method to other women. Very
cool. And so, like you were saying, that it's a married couple that's doing this. It's not just a female. And so you said we were talking the other day, you said there's about 4 people on your team.
Yes.
And you're a funded company, started in an accelerator, and so it's a small team working under this married couple. How is that dynamic as far as being a startup in a small space?
Sure. Well, the co-founders, they have very different but very complementary personalities. So Will is the mechanical engineer and really into data and the more logical, business-minded type of thinker. And Katie is, the artistic, creative type of thinker, and she has the vision for how Kindara is going to work. So you really can't have, the company couldn't exist without both of them. And because it's a small company, we're all very close, and it's really cool to have that type of relationship with your coworkers.
So like you were saying, Katie discovered the fertility, you said it's Fertility Awareness Method? She discovered that after being a birth doula. So what exactly is Fertility Awareness Method? FAM for short, right?
Sure, yeah, FAM. So FAM is a set of rules that women can apply to learn exactly when they're fertile and when they're not during each cycle. So what a lot of people don't realize is that each woman is only fertile for about 5 to 7 days during each cycle, and outside of that fertile window, it's not possible for her to get pregnant. So using this method, you can use it as an aid in getting pregnant by timing intercourse around the fertile window, or to avoid pregnancy by abstaining or using a barrier method during the fertile window, or just, to learn so much more about your gynecological health. And the way you use the method is that you track your fertility signs, and the main ones are your basal body temperature, your cervical fluid, and cervical position. And if you track these each day, you can pinpoint the fertile window.
Well, and it's funny, I don't want to get too much information into my personal life, but my first son, it took 6 months to get pregnant. And towards the end, I was so stressed. I was just like, to hell with all of this. I'm going to actually, track stuff and see what's really going on here. And my doctor never even suggested that I do this. I guess I was young, and she was just like, keep trying, whatever. And I found out so much by doing this, but it was a ginormous pain in the neck. It took a lot of self-discipline to wake up every morning to remember to do that. And then you had a piece of paper and a pen and I downloaded a PDF from like Baby Center or something like that. It's ridiculous. And so what Kindara is doing is really providing people with a tool to use FAM. Is this something, like you said, not a whole lot of women know about this or are aware of this method? How many users does Kindara have right now?
Well, we don't publish our user base, but we did just pass 250,000 downloads.
Wow. That's a lot. Congratulations,
Yeah,
especially for something. I feel like the fertility app type of a space is pretty competitive. But like I said, I really do feel like you are, there's something different about Kindara as far as how people use it. Can you tell us a little bit more about the app and the actual functionality behind it that allows people to track all of this data?
Sure. So yeah, we go by the rules of the Fertility Awareness Method as they're outlined in the book Taking Charge of Your Fertility by Toni Weschler, which is the Bible of fertility awareness. And so a user can enter all of her data into the app, so her temperature, cervical fluid, any other details she wants to add, and then the app puts it on a chart for her. So she can look at her chart and say, okay, I'm fertile on this day, or I'm not fertile, and use that to time intercourse. And we take a broad perspective in that, you know, we market towards women who are trying to get pregnant, women who are trying to avoid pregnancy, and just women who want to track their periods. You know, and it's really, it can be useful for almost any woman in her reproductive years.
So are most of the women that are using the app, do you find that they are actually discovering FAM through you, or is it people that are already using this method that look for an app like yours?
I'd say it's both. It started more with women who already knew how to use FAM and were searching for a fertility awareness app, but now you have a lot of women who are searching for an app that will help them get pregnant, and they come across us. So,
well, that's interesting. Well, one of the things that I think that is really nice about collecting all of this data and really recognizing whether you're trying to get pregnant or not, what's going on in your body, is the idea that it makes you a little bit less stressed about everything. And you wrote a blog post as a community manager for Kindara recently about the stress of getting pregnant. And I swear, I have talked to about 3 women lately going out for lunch or coffee, and they'll say, oh, you know, we're trying to get pregnant, but it's, you know, it's starting to get frustrating. It's been a few months and nothing's happening. And I was like, well, do you feel stressed? Because that's one of the big indicators for me when the first time we tried to get pregnant. And a lot of them do say, yes, I feel stressed about it. And the more you try and you don't get pregnant, the more you get stressed.
Absolutely.
So how can we use Kindara and FAM to alleviate the stress?
Sure. Well, yeah, FAM can absolutely help alleviate the stress of getting pregnant in that through tracking your fertility signs, you can answer the first and most important question is, are you fertile? Can you get pregnant? So if you're not ovulating, or if there's some other issue with your cycle that might be preventing you from getting pregnant, then you'll know about it and you'll be able to do something rather than just blindly trying every month and wondering why you're not getting pregnant or going through all these expensive tests and procedures. And then if you are ovulating, then you'll know exactly when to time sex and when the best time is to try to conceive. So that will increase your chances of getting pregnant. And Kindara can help with that in that, like I said, it makes it easier to keep track of all of your data. And for instance, we have reminders in the app that remind you to take your temperature and track your cervical fluid, so you don't have to think about whether you did that each day.
Well, and so this is something that really, that kind of made the app stand out for me personally when I was looking for apps to use last summer, was the number of reviews that you had very quickly. This is a newer app. It came out like at the beginning of last year, right?
Yes.
So if you look on the website, let me pull this up, you guys, because this is crazy. I mean, we've featured a number of women that have created apps, but you have, if you scroll down just a bit, 197 ratings with 4.5 star review for just this version, over 1,200 ratings altogether. And when you go through the actual reviews and you read about what people are saying, they are a huge fan of this. So how, I mean, do you do anything above and beyond just like the usual app notifications we get that ask you to rate the app?
We really don't. We don't actively seek reviews beyond the notifications within the app. And
that's not what we want to hear. We want to hear that you do something.
We send notifications when we release new versions or if a user gets pregnant. At the end of my email, there's an automatic signature that says, oh, hey, leave us a review. But we just have an awesome user base. And the thing about the Fertility Awareness Method is that it's really life-changing. And it definitely was for me. It certainly was for Katie. And I think a lot of women discover that. And so that's why they're so happy.
Well,
and the reviews, sorry.
Let's talk about that then, because you're a community manager. That's your job, really, to make sure that the community is happy and talking about it and actually using the app properly. So for all of the women out there that are community managers, what makes for a happy community? What do you do every day? Do you check in with people? Do you have like a certain policy of how fast you have to return emails? Tell us more about what your job entails.
Sure. Yeah, I respond to emails as fast as I can, usually within 24 hours. And instead of just sending out an automated response, I try to personally respond to each user's email. And I actively seek feedback from users, not just people who love the app, but people who have stopped using the app. And feedback is so important to us because, we want to be the app that every woman has on her phone. So it's really important that we learn what we can add, what we can change about the app, what we can do differently, and really ultimately what women want from us.
So one of the things that I was watching was a local news program last night, and in your office, when someone got pregnant, I think it was it must have just been like the beginning or late end of last year that this ran, because you were just having your first set of babies that were born based off of this app. And you would ring a bell. Do you still do that when babies are born?
No, we don't, because we were not, the way that we were tracking pregnancies was just that women would write in and say, oh, hey, I got pregnant. But now we have a different way where women mark that they're pregnant in the app. And we found out that we were getting over 300 pregnancies a week. So,
oh my gosh.
So we couldn't press it every day.
That's a lot of bell rings.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else? I mean, as far as the 4-person team, you're, as a community manager, what number employee were you? I mean, when did you come onto the team?
Yeah, well, there were the 3. There were the co-founders and our CTO, and that's within our Boulder office. We also have a team of fertility counselors and developers. And then I was the 4th person to join the Boulder office. So
you said fertility counselors. Now, there is a part in the app that offers support. You can actually talk to someone and work with someone on the data that you're looking at. How does someone get involved with an app? Because I love it when apps do this. We've talked to a number of people that they bring in the service professionals and allow them to use this tool, especially with their clients too. So how does that fertility expert get involved with Kindara in the first place?
Sure. Well, our counselors are amazing, and they came to us. They found out about us some way or another, and we selected them based on first of all their expertise in fertility, but more than that, also on their ability to connect with and engage with women, and because emotional support is a really important part of fertility counseling.
Well, and so just to wrap everything up, it brings it back to. In 2014, I really want to see myself and other young female entrepreneurs do what Katie did. She took something she was interested in. She noticed there was a problem, there's a service behind it, and she gave us a tool to go along with it. Rather than doing any type of other information product or whatever it is, she created something that people can use every day. And I love that. And really fast, the company, it started in an accelerator. What accelerator is that? Is this in Boulder?
No, that was the Hackcelerator program in China, in Shenzhen.
Oh my gosh. So she just made it happen. They both made it happen. It was the two, it's the married couple, like I was saying earlier, and they went out and they got funding and they made that. Is she still practicing as a birth doula?
Yeah, not as much. She's focusing, she's our head designer, so that's her main task now.
Oh, fantastic. Well, so Courtney, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
Where can everyone find out more about Kindara?
Sure, you can download our app for free. Right now it's currently available for iPhone, and we're working on an Android version, so just search Kindara in the App Store. You can also check out our website, www.kindara.com, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop us a line at feedback@kindara.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right, everyone. So you've just been watching Courtney Miller. She's the community manager of Kindara. Make sure that you check out the app. Even if you're not interested in the Fertility Awareness Method, it's still something that's really interesting because it's exactly what I was saying. It's a tool for you to actually open up and track things. And there's data collected. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can replicate this awesome idea, you know, whether it's, I mean, obviously not in Fertility Awareness Method, but in other services that you provide with your clients. If there's something that you're doing, see how you can put that into an app. So this has been the daily live webcast called Jencast. Thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Jennifer Donogh. Hopefully we'll see you back here tomorrow. It's Winning Wednesday. We're going to be joined by Sierra. She's involved with the Rhode Island, what's it called, PVD. It's a lady project there. It's going to be lots of fun, so make sure that you show up. In the meantime, sign up for yfe.me/mail to find out more about everything happening with young female entrepreneurs.